Mitra Vangem Atmazda Dai Bishe Ante Zasta Ishtash Dereshta Aynagem. O wise Ahura, we strive to attain this mighty fire of yours, that fire which draws its strength from Asha, truth, and becomes swift and mighty. For the righteous, it is a radiant, blazing, and steadfast support. Yet, O wise Mazda, for those who spread falsehood and harm, this fire is wrathful, devastating, and annihilating force. ای دانا اهورا، ما برای رسیدن به این آتش نیرومند تو میکوشیم، آن آتشی که از عشا راستی نیرو گیرد و تند و نیرومند شود، برای پارسایان پشتیبانی درخشان و فروزان و استوار است. ای دانا مزدا، اما برای آنان که دروغ و زیان میپراکنند، این آتش خشمی ویرانگر و نابودگر است. There is a forgotten fire, a flame that doesn't consume but illuminates. It's a light that runs through the history of thought, a flame burning between doubt and devotion. It is the light of skepticism, a sacred vigilance that doubts not to destroy but to awaken. A sacred skepticism born not of disbelief but of a deeper devotion. This is the first spark, the fire that shaped the world. A move to a movie, a silent movie perhaps, or one that speaks in volumes. It is not merely to be read, but to be felt, to exist in the presence of a love that moves undisturbed and resolute. A love that is constant like a force of nature, echoing through silence or resonating in loud cries. In this cinematic realm, the movement is all-encompassing, transcending the boundaries of the self, only to be in its stillness or its role. It holds truth beyond the reach of propaganda. It is the movement of the soul, the heartbeat of existence. Its rhythm guiding the way, and so we are left with the hidden subtlety from which love arises. The force that exists beyond words, beyond images. It cannot be seen, but only known. Through presence, through movement. It lives in the spaces between sound, in the silences that speak louder than anything else. The world is night. You are the sun that enlightens and shapes it. این یک فیلم است، شاید فیلمی خاموش یا فیلمی پرطنین، نه تنها برای دیدن بلکه برای احساس کردن است، برای بودن در حضور عشقی که بی آشوب و استوار جاری است، عشقی پیوسته همانند نیرویی طبیعی که در خاموشی طنین می‌افکند یا در فریادی بلند می‌پیچد. در این سپهر سینمایی حرکت همه چیز را در بر می‌گیرد، از مرزهای من می‌گذرد، نیازی به توضیح ندارد، فقط باید باشد در سکوت یا در غوغای خود. حقیقتی را در بر دارد که از دسترس تبلیغ برون است، حرکت جان است، ضربان هستی است و ریتم آن راه را نشان می‌دهد و ما می‌مانیم با آن لطافت نهانی که عشق از او خیزد، نیرویی برای واژه و تصویر. نمیتوان آن را دید، تنها میتوان شناخت از راه حضور، از راه حرکت در میان سکوت‌هایی که از هر سخنی بلندترند. I was thinking about something, sometimes I walk into a room and forget why I came. It feels like time moves differently in this moment. And it's like everything's happening to me and I don't know if I'm awake or in a dream. Everything tastes different in a dream, but also in reality from moment to moment. Do you think people change the mood around them?
ساقیا کجایی که در آتشم، ساقیا کجایی که در آتشم، و از غمش ندانی چه ها میکشم.
جهان شب است. تو خورشید جهان ساز و روشنایی زایی. When you look in mirror, what do you think the mirror wants to listen? The freedom of language, unbound by any constraint, becomes the conduit for truth. It speaks not just words, but life reflecting the wisdom of the soul. Alongside wisdom, the heartbeat of existence resonates, a rhythm where thought and spirit becomes one. In this town, wisdom is not merely sought but lived. It fuels creation and shapes reality. Grounded in the liberation of the self, here no being is enslaved, for the path to freedom lies in the balance of body and soul, in the unity of material and spiritual. The fire temple is kept alive by those who honor this sacred union. The flame is not just a symbol, but the force that drives creation, a force guarded by those who understand that true freedom begins within. These guardians of wisdom, the free spirits, are the architects of a new world, where all coexist in truth, unshackled by the chains of old.
در این سپیده دم خرد دیگر تنها جستجو نشود بلکه زیسته شود. آفرینش را برانگیزد و واقعیت را شکل دهد. بنیادش رهایی خویشتن است. اینجا هیچ جانی به بند نیست، چرا که راه آزادی در توازن جسم و جان است، در یگانگی ماده و معنا. آتشکده را آنانی زنده نگاه داشتند که این پیوند برجابند را پاس می‌دارند. شعله تنها نماد نیست، نیرویی است که آفرینش را پیش می‌راند، نیرویی که نگهبانان آن می‌دانند آزادی راستین از درون آغاز شود. این پاسداران خرد، این روانهای آزاد، معماران جهانی نوینند، جهانی که در آن همه در راستی همزیستی کنند.
The divine, if it must be named, is not a god of blind faith, but the god of skepticism, the one who invites doubt and dignifies the question. In this light, choice becomes sacred. From the roots of all living diversity rises the spirit of wisdom or intelligence, نیروی خرد, a guidance that protects life, not through command, but through love, woven into existence itself. This is not a paradise beyond, but a paradise becoming, built not on denial of matter, but on the refinement of its essence. To worship aesthetic is not vanity, but reverence for the form the spirit takes.
فشردگی عاطفی، تنگی فضای درون از سرکوب مزمن برمیخیزد. انکار نیازهای بنیادین جان را پالایش نمی کند، آن را می فرساید. آنگاه که خودانگیختگی را در پای تعهد قربانی می کنیم، جان به گرسنگی می افتد. آهنگ راستین زندگی دگرگونی است، نه هرج و مرج. شدن پیشرفت رژه کور نیست، زنجیره است از اندیشه های بکار رفته. اندیشه بر ماده نقش میزند، رد پای مینوی شکل کالبدی را میسازد. هر ساختاری چه مادی چه ذهنی از تصمیمی آغاز می شود. معماری مینوی که نخست در جان ترسیم شده. هیچ هستی بیگزینش نیست، از آغاز هر روانی برمیگزیند. بودن یا نبودن، هماوایی با راستی یا انحلال در فریب. در راستی وعده ای نیست، در دروغ شرمی نیست، تنها پژواک گزینش خیشتن است. این تویی و بودنت با تو، تویی همچون هر آنچه هست مینوی.
The world is night. You are the sun that enlightens and shapes it. Oh, my wild innocent, where are you? Oh, my wild innocent, where are you? Not a question for answers, but for presence. A call that echoes beyond logic into the deeper fields of being. The wild innocent is not a child nor a fool, but a clarity, untouched by calculation. Before fear, before form, before function, there was this, the one who stepped into fire, not to prove anything, but because the fire was beautiful. In the age of control, transcendence appears as disobedience, but it is not rebellion, it is grace, untamed, unbroken. The wild innocent lives above the everyday ego, not in denial of the self, but in remembrance of a self far older than identifications, a self that cannot be computed. We have tried to measure a spirit, to compute the angle of love, the weight of devotion, the shape of the soul. But this one, the wild innocent, lives beyond questions, not to be solved, but to be followed. In some forgotten room in the cosmos, the organ plays not for applause, but simply because music must exist. And those who hear it, truly hear it, do not listen with ears, but within veins. Art is created to call something back, not with noise, but with devotion, to invoke what was nearly lost under the weight of meaning, to find what was hidden not in the distance, but beneath. O my wild innocent, if you are nowhere, then let me become no one to find you there.
خدای راستین خدای پرسشگری است، نه خدای ایمان کور. خدای شک است، آنکه پرسش را پاس می‌دارد و در این روشنایی گزینش است که می‌نویست. از ریشه گوناگونی جانداران هوشمندی روان برمیخیزد، همان مینوی خرد، راهنمایی که نه با فرمان که با عشق زندگی را پاس می‌دارد. این بهشتی فراتر نیست، بهشتی است در حال پدید آمدن، ساخته نه بر انکار ماده بلکه بر پالایش گوهر آن. ساخته نه بر انکار ماده بلکه بر پالایش گوهر آن. ستایش زیبایی خودبینی نیست بلکه حرمت به شکل روان است. سرمایه‌داری بهومن نه بازاری آزمند بلکه اقتصادی آکنده از بخشایش، ساختاری که در آن خرد مینوی ماده را نگاه می‌دارد، جایی که دیدنی و نادیدنی دیگر در کشاکش نیستند بلکه بازتاب یکدیگرند. دیگر کسی خدا را نمی‌جوید تا خود را فراموش کند بلکه تا کاملتر به یاد آورد که بودن خود بخشی از امر مینوی است.
The child's gradual death began with birth and continued until it acknowledged, loved, and accepted its mortal body. In that acceptance, the journey toward immortality began, a journey of becoming. In this path, the child aligned itself with the goddesses and gods and became one of them. Aware now and crowned as the king of its mortal self, the child entered the realm of the gods. What do you believe? What do you believe in now? We have been talking to each other for years, and we also listened to each other carefully. Do you think we ever tell each other the truth?
The truths change.
Yeah, we try at least. But sometimes I think truth needs silence more than words. what do you think the meaning of life is?
I don't know. I try to find it out. Sometimes I have this feeling that I know what it is, but sometimes it's that, other days it's something else. It's not
So static?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I feel maybe friendship is the place where truth doesn't need to be explained. Even when the lights of attachment are dimmed and memory fades like ink in water, there is still the quiet act of being, of becoming. Language too began this way, not as a tool to describe what is known, but to name what is yet unnamed, a reaching beyond the present moment into the realm of what could be. A table forgets its social contract, a name forgets its shape. To belong is not to be confined, it is to be held without being possessed. مرگ آهسته کودک با تولد آغاز شد و ادامه یافت تا زمانی که تن فانی خیش را پذیرفت، دوست داشت و آن را در آغوش کشید. در همین پذیرش بود که سفر به سوی جاودانگی آغاز شد، سفری برای شدن. در این راه کودک با ایزدان همسو گشت و با آنان یکی شد. اکنون آگاه و پادشاهی تاجدار بر تن و روان خیش، کودک وارد قلمرو ایزدان شد.
مرئی و نامرئی در برابر هم نیستند، یکدیگر را کامل می کنند. آنچه از چشم می گریزد می تواند روان را لمس کند و آنچه روان را لمس کند روزی شاید شکل جهان را دگرگون سازد.
There exists an intelligence beyond intellect, a spiritual discernment that questions, chooses, and sustains. Skepticism is not the enemy of the sacred, it is its companion. Even the divine, in its wisdom, invites inquiry, not obedience, but choice. There is a force older than belief, a clarity deeper than certainty. The divine, if it must be named, is not a God of blind faith, but the God of skepticism, the one who invites doubt and dignifies the question. In this light, choice becomes sacred. The spirit of wisdom and intelligence, مینوی خرد, a guidance that protects life, not through command, but through love, woven into existence itself. This is not a paradise beyond, but a paradise becoming, built not on denial of matter, but on the refinement of its essence. To worship aesthetic is not vanity, but reverence for the form a spirit takes. Wohumana capitalism, not a market of greed, but an economy of grace, a structure where spirit of wisdom and intelligence sustains the material, where the seen and the unseen are no longer in conflict, but reflections of each other. May I begin again on the face of the flower that taught me love? May I find the courage to take flight? Let us speak of the divine not as a distant law, but as a presence flowing in water. Anahita, eternal mother, guardian of all the rivers, who whispers to us in the morning wind and heals the pain of those who stay awake through the night. What is governance? Which structure? Not the rule of power, but the guidance of the best ideas. A rule not by force, but by the finest ideas, those aligned with the Asha, with truth, with care, a way of coexistence, not control, a state of becoming, governed not by dominance, but by devotion, a rule aligned not with ambition, but with Asha, the sacred order that allows all to coexist. To govern is to listen. To lead is to love. To be is to be in service of becoming.
دیگر کسی خدا را نمی جوید تا خود را فراموش کند، بلکه تا کاملتر به یاد آورد که بودن خود بخشی از امر مینویست.
Entertainment seeps into the psyche like a subtle narcotic, disarming the mind, disabling clarity. Propaganda, too, doesn't shout, it whispers confusion, weaving fear into belief, uncertainty into trust, to transform thinkers into believers. The true rhythm of life is change, not the chaos of drift, but the pulse of becoming. Progress is not a blind march, but a chain of applied thought. Thought imprints matter. Metaphysical impressions shape material forms. Every structure we inhabit, physical or conceptual, begins as a decision, a divine architecture first drowned in spirit. No being is without choice. From the beginning, every soul chooses to be or not to be, to align with truth or to dissolve in illusion. There is no promise in truth, no shame in falsehood, only the echo of your own choosing. It is you and your being with you, you, the one who, like all that exists, is divine. We are not here to build monuments to ideology. We are here to shape spaces for the flourishing of life, not under heavens of abstraction, but in rooms of power, carved with the surface of the visible, where we forge body and mind to protect the living, the wild, the diverse. We live in the space between words, between what is meant and what is felt, between sound and silence, presence and absence. Language is not only what we speak, it is also what we cannot say. There is a grammar of longing, a syntax of light, a vocabulary of thresholds. To speak truly is to touch the void between names. To listen deeply is to find meaning where language breaks. In the in-between, we do not lose ourselves. We become porous enough to meet.
از اون به دیگ مقامم عزیز می‌دارم که آتشی که نمی‌گرد همیشه در دلم چه سال بود که در پرده می‌زدیم نقطه که رفت عمری هنوزم دماغ روز هوا ادای شوخی دیشب برم کنیم دادم ادای سینی حافظ هنوز
The fire cannot be extinguished so easily. It seeks a vessel to hold its light. In the poetic voice of Hafiz, we hear the flame reassert itself. In a time of institutionalized piety and word denial, Hafiz satirized the hollow mystics. The Sufi's cup is empty, though he boasts of drunkenness. Hafiz was an authentic presence in the world, resisting a spiritual vanity. He affirms joy, beauty, the wine of life, the sacredness of the matter and material world. He brings the divine into the world not by fleeing it, but by praising the light in the tavern. Hafiz is the radiant spirit of Zarathustra's teaching in poetic form, joyful, ironic, wise, rooted in the material world, yet never bound by it. A free mind cannot be managed like a border or a tax. The moment one tries to dictate what may be spoken or which thoughts may be permitted, the fire grows hotter, for the flame draws its strength from Asha, from truth, from the courage to speak reality as one understands it. And when power attempts to fence this fire in, it does not dim, it becomes volcanic. History shows that when an idea enters the mind of a people, no legion can crush it, not Rome at Carrhae, not any empire since. A shift in collective spirit is a force beyond armies, beyond decrees, beyond fear. Free people do not bow to those who would script their thoughts. They guard their dignity as fiercely as their borders. To look is not always to see. A mirror reveals nothing but what is allowed to reflect, and yet behind every mirror there is a possibility of a veil, of a soft layer of forgetting, of distortion, of image without essence. We wear veils made of stories, habits, names, but a name is not the thing itself, and a self is not the sum of its masks. There is an honesty that begins where appearance ends. The mirror fractures, the veil thins, and in this quiet undoing, truth waits.
راه میروم به سوی نادیده ها، به سوی ناگفته ها، و هنوز ناگفته ها بسیار است. نمیدانم چگونه بگویم آنچه ناگفتنی است. چگونه گویم درد سرزمینم را. جایی که زاده آنم و هنوز دوست دارش. هنوز این سرزمین در من است و من در این سرزمین. او بخشی از من است و من بخشی از او. آه سرزمینم، سرزمین باد، سرزمین خورشید، سرزمین خاک برجاوند، سرزمین آبهای برجاوند، سرزمین آناهیتا، سرزمین ورهرام، سرزمین اهورا مزدا. خاک تو خاکی برجاوند است و باغ‌هایت همان باغ‌های بهشت. ای بهشت من، دوستت دارم از صمیم جان و دوست دارم روزی در راه تو با تو یکی شوم. کوشیده ایم جان را بسنجیم، زاویه عشق را محاسبه کنیم، وزن وفاداری شکل روان را. اما آن یکی این بیگناه وحشی بیرون از معادله هاست، جایی فرای باید و نباید ها. در اتاقی فراموش شده در کیهان کسی تار می نوازد، نه برای تشویق بلکه چون موسیقی باید وجود داشته باشد و آنان که می شنوند با رگ‌ها می شنوند، نه با گوش. هنر آفریده می شود تا چیزی را بازگرداند، نه با هیاهو بلکه با اخلاص، تا فراخواند آنچه زیر بار معنا گم شده بود، تا بیابد آنچه پنهان شده بود، نه در فاصله بلکه در ژرفا. ای بی گناه وحشی من، اگر هیچ کجایی بگذار من هیچ کس شوم تا تو را آنجا بیابم.
Perception is never neutral. What we see is shaped by what we are taught to see, by what we are afraid to see, by what we long to see. The unseen is not absent. It is simply that which lies beyond habituated perception. To unlearn is an act of vision. To see differently is to remember the world as truly is, alive, layered, and unfinished. The visible and invisible do not oppose each other, they complete each other. What escapes the eye may still touch the soul, and what touches the soul may one day alter the shape of the world. Is there a difference between being present and being in a dream?
Yes, I think so.
If gravity had a language, how would it sound?
It would sound strong, very strong and undeniable.
Do you think trees can miss someone they have never met?
No.
Which argue can stop a nostalgia.
Wanting to be alive.
When you look in a mirror, what story do you think the mirror wants to listen to?
The mirror doesn't care.
If forgetting had a reflection, how would that reflection look like? When was the last time that you pretended to understand?
Now,
If you met yourself from the past, what would you say to your future self?
keep going. Don't settle.
how strange are you to yourself? Pretty normal. Pretty normal, and at the same time, very strange. نگاه کردن همیشه به معنای دیدن نیست. آینه تنها آن را باز می‌تاباند که اجازه بازتابش را یافته است و پشت هر آینه امکان پرده‌ای هست، لایه‌ای نرم از فراموشی و از تصویری بی‌گوهر. ما پرده‌هایی از قصه، عادت و نام بر تن داریم، اما نام خود آن چیز نیست و خویشتن جمع نقاب‌ها نیست. اما نام خود آن چیز نیست و خویشتن جمع نقاب‌ها نیست. راستی از آنجا آغاز می شود که نمود پایان می گیرد. آینه ترک بر می دارد، پرده نازک می شود و در این آرامش بی دغدغه راستی در انتظار است.
Millennia before the Greek term philosophy had a name, the high plateau of Iran was already the home of Mazda Yasna Da'ena, which literally means the religion of the worship of wisdom. Mazda means wisdom, insight, luminous intelligence. Yasna means veneration, the act of worship. Da'ena means conscious, inner vision, the image of one's own truth. Mazda Yasna's ethics are the art of choosing rightly in a world when light and shadow coexist in us, and wisdom could only remain divine by doubting itself. Its prophet Zarathustra, who composed the hymns of the Gathas, did not issue declarations. He shaped poetic dialogues in which the prophet prays with wonder and doubt, asking Ahura Mazda questions. Ahura Mazda, the god of escapism, the luminous intelligence of reality. Thus spoke Zarathustra, "To whom shall I turn for help, O wise Mazda? Who is there that can protect me from deceit? How shall I know what is true and that which is false, O wise Ahura? Who is the creator of the good mind within us?" Here the human task is not to kneel in blind worship, but to stand as a partner to work alongside the divine in the great ongoing creation of Pardis, or the Persian garden of order and beauty, which later was miscast as a paradise beyond matter. A life in harmony with Asha, the cosmic order, the truth of existence. There is no original sin. no fatalistic decree, and no external punishment or reward meted out by a judging God. Only responsibility. Choices carry their own consequences. Living in harmony with cosmic order, truth, or to wander in the confusion of distortion. It's a call to moral autonomy. This is a vision that denies nothing, it integrates everything. It is not a dualism of two eternal varying powers. It is a living dialectic. The duality is dialectical. Even Ahriman is no irredeemable devil, but the necessary contrast needed for awareness. His corruption is a flight from life, a spiritual alienation. Whereas Asha is the intelligence incarnate in history and nature. It is the cosmic dialectic moving toward the renewal or the final integration of all being. George Wilhelm Hegel saw the world as a spirit in motion, a living, breathing dialectic. He writes, "Contradiction is the root of all movement and of all life. It is only insofar as something contains a contradiction within itself that it moves, has impulse and activity." Human endeavors, consciousness, and reality themselves are never fixed. Each contradiction a step toward higher understanding, toward a world shaped by reason and realized through freedom. Karl Marx took Hegelian concept of the dialectic and plunged it into the earth. He grounded the dialectic in the material struggle of classes. But behind this revolutionary reorientation lies a paradox. Marx's theory, though rooted in materialism, bears traces of the very dualisms it sought to overcome. The language of redemption, the vision of a classless society, remains structurally akin to a secularized Abrahamic eschatology. The proletariat becomes, in a sense, a chosen people whose suffering redeems the world. His dialectic is historical and economic, but its architecture is moral, almost Abrahamic, and messianic. It was a powerful, necessary critique, but one that forgot the sacredness of the very matter it sought to liberate. This freedom is not merely political, but inner. Nietzsche wrote, "The free spirit is the one who thinks differently than he must. The herd human wants only two things, safety and quiet." And from the Gathas composed by Zarathustra, thus spoke Zarathustra, "Hear with your ears the highest truth, reflect with a clear mind. Let each person choose their own path freely, man by man, woman by woman. Between these two spirits, the wise one chose rightly, the foolish did not." The term area, noble, honorable, is the ancient name the Iranians gave themselves, not in the sense of 19th century racial theories, but in a civilizational sense. It is carved in stones across the land, in royal inscriptions of Darius, who declared himself an Aryan of Aryan lineage. Iran means the land of the area. Persia is what the Greeks called Iran. The Iranians have always known themselves as Aryan, as Iran. It is from this enduring sense of self, this conscious alignment with order, wisdom, and responsibility that we can now recognize the divergent path of human thought. We stand at the crossroads of two worldviews. One that preaches an apocalypse, a death cult, a final ending that sanctifies destruction and calls it divine will. It is a worldview that murdered the old gods, erased pantheons, and plural truth. One truth, everything else is false. Its hunger for one absolute planted the seed of all fascism. The other, born from the very soil of the Holy Land, Iran, the living body of Ahura Mazda, the God of all living, the God of escapism, and its first creation. This worldview envisions not an end, but perfection, Ferasho Kereti, the great renewal, a life-affirming summons to action, to sanctify the material world, to build Hardis, Persian gardens of justice and beauty, an earthly manifestation of harmony and cosmic order, here and now, not a distant reward promised beyond death, not a paradise of vulgar indulgence in the afterlife, but a world renewed through human knowledge, courage, and care. It is the eternal struggle between life-affirming creation and death-bound destruction. For millennia, the spirit of Iran has been the ghost in the machine of Western civilization, a vision, a grammar of language, myth, and statecraft that shaped Europe. It is the unacknowledged heartbeat of the heartland. To forget your own mythology, Nordic, Greek, Iranian, Indian, and others, which your authentic identity grows from, is to suffer profound cultural alienation. It is to live by a second-hand mythology borrowed from the Abrahamic traditions, one that can never truly be your own. Let Europe remember its soul, forged in the same fiery crucible as Iran. As the poet Ferdowsi proclaimed, from power comes truth, and from weakness, falsehood is born, and decay follows. Let this be the spark that lights the way, the courage to think, to choose, and to renew the world. Let us reject the death calls and their apocalyptic end, and embrace our sacred common task. This is the fire that shaped the world and never died. It began as a question in an ancient land. It became the dialectic of history, and it finds its home in the courage to think for oneself, in the quality of one's choices, in the slow, patient, and glorious work of bringing the world to its highest perfection.
بین عاشقای خود بیشتر از این خارم نکن زیر و رو بشه دنیا من دوست دارم هر کس دلبری اگه داری من تو رو دارم دوست دارم دوست دارم دوست دارم
ای غرور توی شعر لعنتی، نگین دلت یه سنگ قیمتی، منو با خودت غریبه میدونی، مثل خورشید تو یه جا نمیمونی، تو تبارت به یه آفتاب میرسه، به ته چشمه های آب میرسه. من در اندیشه با تو بودنم، از تو هرگز دیگه دل نمی کنم. تو میخندی تو دلت به حال من، که دارم دل رو به دریا میزنم. تو تبارت به آفتاب میرسه، به ته چشمه های آب میرسه. مگه غیر از تو کسی پیدا میشه که به زخمای تنم دست بکشه؟ وقتی گریه بگیره خلوت من، یه وجب بهار پیراهنشه. دریای چشمای تو دیدنیه، واسه من بودن تو روشنیه. تو دلت دریاییه که دوره اون همیشه یه پرده آهنیه. تو تبارت به یه آفتاب میرسه، به ته چشمه های آب میرسه.